All right, folks, here we are. Thursday, May 30th. McFarland's Daily Rundown. Well, if you've been following the news, you know that our area just got pummeled with storms yesterday. Multiple tornadoes, multiple threats of tornadoes. Canton got hit, Van got hit, the lake got hit here. And then they were going all around my house. And I mean all around my house. So we not only did we have the tornado threat and the violent weather, but we had at least, I think, 6 inches of rain. The lake came up over 9 inches. So it was 2 inches below pool. It is now about 6 to 7 inches over pool, maybe even more. So a lot of water. It changed things a little bit. Very temporary. This morning the bite was a little different. The water temperature was still 77 degrees. No warm trend today, really, in the water column. And by the way, when I'm talking about this water temp, I'm talking about the subsurface, okay? So at the crack of dawn, when we put that boat in the water, that's what the water column is, the upper water column. By the day trend that it warms, that's just the subsurface. So that's your first 12 to 18 inches. So when I'm talking warm trend each day, it's a subsurface. Morning time is usually what the lake is, okay? So we're at 77 degrees. That's a good temp. It's right there. We started out this morning doing a little something different. Thanks to Mr. Greg West, another great guy on the lake, and what a first-class young man he is. Shared a little bit of information just out of the blue, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Greg. You can count on me if you ever need anything ever. But he talked about throwing the swim jig. So I went to the Sandtone swim jig. That's mean green, and that is a white rage craw, just a white rage craw. He mentioned that he'd been doing pretty good with it. So, it was worth a try. I haven't fished any backwaters this year. Hardly at all, folks. This should show you the credentials, or I'm trying to say. It should show you how solid this shell bed stuff that I'm fishing, both shallow and deep, is. Since the 3rd week of February, I have fished nothing but shell. Nothing. Ask any one of my clients. We've done just fine. We made one day, an hour or two looking at some bedfish. Another day or two, I went, call it mimicking around with a frog. But I have lived and died by the shell bed theory that I've been talking about, teaching about, and catching my fish on. And so we threw the swim jig for a little while, had a couple bites, had a small fish on it. And then we went back to the deep bite. They wouldn't eat the jig early. Stop it. They wouldn't eat the Carolina rig, the full Carolina rig. So I ended up going to old dependable, what I call the finesse Carolina rig, just a light rig, chicken rig. However you want to set it up, it's a finesse. It's a lighter line, and I got off the larger bait, the 7-inch, and back to the 5-inch, and we caught plenty of fish. Fishing was good. After lunch, we went back out. The jig bite was kind of marginally coming around the fish, and the sun was coming out, so the fish were going back down to the bottom. I found that putting the boat in about 22 today for the afternoon, 22 throwing into 10 and bringing the baits out was the best. And early in the morning, the bites that we did get were up a little shallower than that. But boy, we've got our season full of water this year, folks. 3 gates wide open. I didn't see any effect of that today at all because there's still water coming in. So those gates won't take effect on the fish until that water stabilizes and then begins to drop. Right now the water's rising, should bring fish up. Rising water rises fish. Falling water points out fish. In this case, once that water starts to fall in the pool from the 3 gates being open, it just kind of repositions them in some weird positions, suspends them offshore where they don't want to bite. And of course, the more that those gates stay open, the fish can and will begin to get used to it. But right now, man, this storm, as fast as it came and went, is basically what it's done to the fishing. We left them biting. So it was a good day on Lake Fork. I appreciate you guys watching. I've had trouble downloading McFarland's Corner. I got it to the YouTube. For some reason, Facebook does not want to take it. It's a 20-minute show. I tried airing it yesterday, and I'll try again tonight. But McFarland's Corner this week was a good show, and it was about using my sonar offshore. So if you miss it on Facebook, go to my YouTube channel, The Lake Fork Guide, Mike McFarland on YouTube. You can watch the show there. And, man, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you tomorrow on the Daily Rundown.